Okay, if you're in any kind of helping profession, a therapist, a social worker, even just a friend who's trying to help out, there's this one question that comes before literally anything else. What is a problem, really? Today, we're going to dig into a framework from William J. Reed that totally flips that question on its head.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Who gets the final say? Is it the expert, the person with a degree, or is it the person who's actually living it day in and day out? Because how you answer that question, well, it changes everything.
And this is right where things can get messy. On one side, you've got someone on the outside looking in, saying, you're too defensive. And on the other, you have someone's actual lived experience. My son is unmanageable. When those two things don't line up, you're not going anywhere. You're just stuck.
So to help us sort this all out, Reed gives us these two really useful terms that get to the heart of his whole framework. We're talking about the difference between attributed and acknowledged problems.
So first up, let's talk about the attributed problem. This is basically an outside-in kind of deal. It's when someone else looks at your situation, defines what they think is wrong, and then sort of pins it on you. It's their take on what's going on with you.
And you can just feel how that lands, right? When someone looks at you and says, I think you have a problem, it doesn't exactly feel like a team effort, does it? Nope. It feels like a judgment. It's a problem being placed on you, whether you agree with it or not.
But now, let's flip that. The acknowledged problem is the total opposite. This one comes from the inside out. It's the person themselves saying, here's what I'm struggling with, in their own words, from their own experience.
And this right here, this is gold. This is the moment of ownership, when someone can finally say, yes, that is my problem. That's what I'm dealing with. That's the real starting line. That's where change can actually begin. So, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, cool distinction, but why is this such a big deal? Well, honestly, it's the difference between helping someone make real progress and just spinning your wheels.
Because think about it. If you, as the helper, are trying to fix a problem that the other person doesn't even see or agree is a problem, you get what Reed calls a clash of perspectives. It's like a tug-of-war where nobody wins, and you just end up frustrated.
And this is exactly why we have to focus on what the person themselves acknowledges. I mean, you can't have effective action without participation, right? And people are only going to be motivated to work on things they actually see as a problem. Trying to force it isn't just a waste of time. It can totally break down trust and respect. It's all about collaboration.
All right, so we've got to work on problems the client actually acknowledges. Check. But what if that problem is something huge and fuzzy? Like, I'm just so depressed, or my whole family life is a disaster. This is where the next tool, specification, becomes our best friend.
So let's take a look at this case study. The problem on the table is that a father and son have a poor relationship. Okay, what does that even mean? It's so big and abstract, where would you possibly start with that?
So we start asking questions. We get more specific. What does this poor relationship actually look like in real life? It turns out they argue. Okay, what do they argue about? The family car. See that? All of a sudden, this huge, scary problem is starting to look a lot more concrete.
And we don't have to stop there. We can keep digging. When do these arguments happen? Oh, about every 2 weeks. And what's the specific context? It's when the son wants to use the car to go see his girlfriend. And just like that, we've gone from a vague relationship issue to a very specific, predictable, and most importantly, manageable situation to actually work on.
And this leads us to this really powerful insight from Reed. Sometimes we're actually way better at helping people with their so-called small problems than their large ones. Because by breaking things down, we make them solvable. And often, it's by fixing those small, specific moments that the bigger picture starts to heal.
Okay, now for the last piece of the puzzle. And this idea might just be the most powerful of them all. It asks us to totally reframe what we even think a problem is in the first place.
Reed gives us this beautifully simple equation. A problem is not a flaw. It's not a weakness. It's simply a want that hasn't been satisfied yet. Just letting that sink in for a second. That shift in perspective changes the entire game. It takes the focus off some negative thing in the past and puts it on a positive goal for the future. And this example just makes it so clear. Check it out. You've got two people in the exact same boat. Both are overweight. Now, person A wants to be thinner. For them, the condition creates a problem. But person B, they don't have that want. So for them, it's not a problem. It's just a fact.
The condition itself is totally neutral. It's the unsatisfied want that actually creates the problem.
You can see how empowering this is, right? The entire conversation shifts. We stop asking, "So what's wrong with you?" And we start asking, "So what do you want?" It becomes forward-looking, it's focused on solutions, and it puts the person's own goals right at the very center of everything.
So here's what I want to leave you with, whether it's for your job or just for your own life. How might the things you call problems start to look different? What would change if you started seeing them not as something that's wrong, but as a want that's just waiting to be satisfied? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.